knows that it's time to rock and roll. In the top left side, we are looking at the main base who has won the last 5 seasons of the DreamHack Masters Latin America. This is SpeCial.
SpeCial's smiling quite a lot while whatever conversation is happening, and spawning over in the bottom right-hand side as the blue Zerg is JimRising.
Oh, JimRising did say Cyril, so I can only imagine that it was something related to the great Jonas Satala. Now I see a Kappa in there. I see another Kappa. I see SC2. I can only assume that they're having a lot of fun.
You're such a good translator, man. Like, explaining the Kappa and the SC2 to me. Oh, forehead, Kevin, forehead.
Something about concentrating there as well. I mean, and now we're getting a bit carried away. At least it's good to see they're both smiling, chatting along, having a good time. That's, of course, StarCraft 2 should be all about. Even though, you know, there might be some stress for a lot of the people that play in this tournament. I don't think SpeCial is that worried. Even if this would go wrong, he obviously has a second life. This is the upper bracket match. Now, winning this group would be nice, because then maybe you don't play Kalazur, assuming Kalazur is going to win this group in the semifinals, I guess, because they don't have a quarterfinals of the upper bracket. But I don't think it really makes that big of a difference. What do you make of the barracks on the low ground, Benny?
I initially thought he was going to go for like double barracks and do like a Reaper opening kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, this used to be trendy a long time ago. And I know SpeCial's the kind of guy that will whip out things that, you know, aren't super orthodox. Like I think Bunny nailed it when we talked to him at season finals. Like, he talked about SpeCial not being a normal Terran. Like, he isn't a Terran, he's something else. And he really does have his own take on a lot of this stuff. But I think it is very vulnerable to have your add-ons exposed like that.
This is a lot of Zerglings on the way for JimRising, Ben. This is not that normal. He's still mining gas too. No, he kind of stopped actually mining. No, he's still mining gas. He drops the Baneling nest. That's where the gas went. So we are going to see a Baneling all in here in the first game. Now, SpeCial doing this on this map is obviously a bit funny, because since he spawned in the top left side, it means that his add-ons are going to be very, very exposed. And Ben, if JimRising canceled the Baneling nest and he goes for a Roach Warren instead, all right.
I mean, I'm not really sure what prompted the cancel, actually, because it's like he should have known there was going to be Hellions most likely being made, and he was like, I think the Banelings would have been okay for like busting down the wall and getting by. Oh, SpeCial with the armory as well. This actually could be very bad for SpeCial.
Well, the Zergling speed is about to finish up in 5 seconds. The depot is not raised, but there is a Reaper that's gonna pop. Does he pay attention? He does not! Zerglings run into the main base. And is it the previous season or the season before all over again? I mean, these Lings are obviously not gonna win the game, but they should be able to find a bit of damage. Decent fight there for the Lings. Look at the amount of SCVs that have just gone down. That's 6. Honestly, a pretty sweet start for JimRising.
And the worst part about all of this, Kev, is there's roaches on the way. And, like, yeah, there's an armory that's finished, but Hellbats aren't necessarily the best against roaches. And when SpeCial sees this, he's going to be like, you absolute madman. He's like, there's roaches on the way to my base? And yeah, SpeCial's face just then, he's like, what? Like, what's going on here? But, I mean, that is luckily picking off 2 roaches before anything happens. And this is a little bit presumptuous by JimRising to just run out here with roaches one by one.
Yeah, he's going to end up losing another roach. He still has a few on the way, but now it's mostly Zerglings that are going to reinforce. Good usage of by SpeCial here of the side blockers. I mean, he has actually killed 4 roaches up to this point. Now there is a Ravager that's a little bit exposed too. The Lings are going to show up, but Juanito is building nothing but Hellions and Reapers. And they may not be great against a lot of roaches, but we've already killed a couple. I gotta say, there's still quite a few roaches in the mix here, though. There's a good chance that JimRising will get on top of the SCVs one more time. It's gonna be hard to kill all these Hellions.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a few of them are battered and bruised. That Ravager does keep it alive there. SpeCial did try and go for the snipe. SpeCial behind all this, I think he's got a starport up, and yes, he does. With a tech lab on as well for the Banshee. That will really cut this dead in its tracks. Like, JimRising is on 22 workers. Like, that is insanely committed here.
Yep, and SpeCial is going to be supply blocked for quite some time, so no more extra units. The Hellions have morphed into Hellbats. The SCVs have been pulled. Now Hellbats, if they can get on top of a couple of roaches, they can deal some decent damage. It really does kind of feel that JimRising is on the clock though, not just because he has no drones, but that Banshee is about to come out. And I do not think that SpeCial is going to lose a Banshee. The Natural though, with 2 extra depots here as well, that's going to be very annoying to lose those two, and potentially even the Armory.
Yeah, I mean, this is this is one of those things, man, where I'm just like, SpeCial, you've made this way harder for yourself than you should have, because he's a really good player, but like what JimRising's doing here isn't normal by any means, but yeah, that was.
There's a hole in the wall. That's a lot of links. All of the links are going to try to kill the tech lab. Not too many Hellbats remaining. SpeCial is in serious trouble. He's going to lose pretty much each and every single SCV here. Only a single Hellbat is left, and JimRising has taken a 12 worker lead for himself. Even the factory is running low on HP. Now Jim is going to be forced to transition. Cloak did not get cancelled, but it's just a single Banshee at this point.
I can't believe it, Kev. JimRising's actually got himself into a pretty damn decent spot here. Like, SpeCial isn't down and out by any means, but that is, yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm actually a bit blown away.
That could be an issue when you're a StarCraft 2 commentator, but I'll give you a moment. As we have extra sport crawlers going up now for JimRising. He has one in the main, one in the natural, and then one just kind of in the middle of all of it, trying to protect the queens. And one Banshee is really not going to be that much of an issue to deal with. Juanito down 13 workers. At least we have a game on our hands. We shouldn't lose any queens here against a single Banshee. Okay, now we have the second Banshee showing up.
I mean, making how many sports? He's making a lot of sports. Like, he is very worried about this. This is, I mean, a good player with Banshees can do a lot, right? Which is what we're kind of seeing here. Does let that drone get away, but he was just macroing back at home, I do suppose. Definitely getting back into this is SpeCial with this.
Sending the queens out a little bit too early there before the Overseer is done, so we didn't have detection, and it does mean that JimRising ends up losing a queen that he was perhaps not supposed to lose, but he still has a decent little worker lead for himself. The only downside is that he's a 2-base Zerg, and 2-base Zergs are just not as terrifying as 3 or 4-base Zergs.
That is hot take there, Kevin. Finally, I got you back with something right there. That is awesome.
I mean, unless you're JimRising, then maybe you can actually do something devastating on 2 hatcheries. Triple Banshee for SpeCial at this point, but one Banshee is going to get picked up, and the other one is damn low on HP too. It's a shame not a single queen was left behind. Because if there was one more queen, my goodness. How are these Banshees single-handedly bringing back this game?
I mean, JimRising not having a third and kind of no intention of taking one almost. Goes for Spire on the 2-base situation that he's in. But yeah, he's more than allowed SpeCial back into this game, man. And how many Spore Crawlers are up, by the way? He had 4 Spore Crawlers, Kevin, on 2 bases. And there's a Spore over here. Like, that'd be nice in one of those mineral lights, protecting it a bit.
I guess he tried to use that to potentially go up to 3 bases. I mean, having 4 sport crawlers after dealing that much economic damage, I don't even think is the worst thing. The worst thing about it is that we still lost 9 drones and lost a queen. And we were hard stuck on 2 bases. Like, that's where it just becomes a little bit bad. Can we at least kill one more Banshee? Yes, we can. Good job there by JimRising. He does get his second Banshee of the game. Seems like SpeCial doesn't know about that spy yet, but we do have a couple of very random Reapers hopping into the main base. The good old 9-minute, 20-second Reaper run by SpeCial tries to get a good scout off here. Where's that Spire anyway? Oh, it's in the natural. Okay, nice scan by SpeCial.
Yeah, SpeCial's good enough of a player to realize something else must be going on here. So, guess confirmation as to the mutas, or the muta threat, which is it's a bit further away for SpeCial. Like, this is a very different game compared to Terran versus JimRising, where he's very far behind. Now SpeCial's actually got himself into a nice situation.
Yeah. It's kind of shocking that after that start, while SpeCial was down almost 20 workers, we now look at the numbers and we're like, it's looking pretty good for the Terran, especially because JimRising obviously does not have double evolution chamber here. It's not like 1-1 upgrades are done. We don't have a Baneling Nest. Roach Muta against Terran is also not the wombo combo that Sweet Dreams are made of.
Unless you Bly, and then it absolutely can be. I mean, okay, it's going for a Baneling Nest as well, which is a little unusual, I suppose, because normally if you get the Mutas out, you get to do some Chaos, and then you can go for the Roach Max afterwards or something like that, a big Roach attack, but go for the Baneling Nest suggests that he doesn't want to do that.
I mean, the Muta count is quite high. We have 11 Mutas out on the map. Let's see if they can find some success. I'm really surprised that JimRising never brings Overseers with his Muta squads. For a man who plays this much with Mutas, is SpeCial actually making a little misclick there. He's shooting at that unbuildable plate, so those Marines were not actually fighting the Mutas. Look at these Mutas of JimRising go. They're finding a bit more damage than I thought they would. They do not get a cancel on combat shield. But not a bad start.
Not a bad start indeed. I mean, this getting out of there, maybe losing. They are getting a little bit surrounded here. Wants to be a little bit careful. But with all this, oh, the Banshee's dealing some good counter damage too. And that Muta count really has been growing.
Yep, we had 11 Mutas at first. We still have 11 Mutas after we've lost 3 on the other side of the map. The Widowman count is going up. You know what was a bit of a shame, by the way, is that he didn't kill that armory that was super exposed in the natural. I mean, I guess he did get all the links into the main when most of the Hellbats were gone, so maybe the timing of the links making it into the main is just right. But when there is an armory you can fully surround it with that many Zerglings, I think it's nice to pick it off.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, stopping your opponent or forcing out another armory to get 2-2 on the way and what have you. And even like having a Cloak with Mines. Oh, 2 Mutas are caught out, and this is SpeCial's handling this very well, actually.
Yep, the Mutas are in his main base. He already pulled the SCVs before the Mutas even shown up, and I don't think there's any stopping this army. We are morphing a couple of Banelings, but they're keeping the Roaches stuck. Was at the bottom of our screen. Now the slow Banes do show up, but SpeCial, his splits are quite sexy. He has lost 10 SCVs at home, but yeah, that doesn't really matter if you have an unstoppable army on the other side of the map. GG got a little bit wild in the beginning, and it looked promising for Jim, but unfortunately for him, he could not cause the upset here. At one point, it was like 30 plus workers against 12 SCVs, and it wasn't triple CC. Like, if it's triple CC, I'd be like, yeah, okay, we know what Terran's capable of. Every mule counts for 14 SCVs, you know, they're still outmining their opponent. But double CC, I felt like there was a potential there for Jim.
I mean, there was more than potential, Kev. Like, that was... I was very worried. I was like, oh my goodness, is it going to happen again? Where JimRising takes a map out of like 50 games in their previous history where he didn't, like, he took 1 map in total kind of thing. But yeah, that was definitely a lot more problematic for SpeCial than a lot of us thought it was going to be, I would say. But going for the low ground wall like that, SpeCial does just make things complicated, man.
Yes, especially when you spawn in the top left. Like, if he would have spawned in the bottom right, maybe I wouldn't hate it that much, because then at least his add-ons are protected. But in this way, his add-ons are exposed. Now, maybe that's part of 200 IQ Big Brain Gaming, because he wants JimRising to do a beginning boss that wouldn't work. But yeah, then JimRising just made Roaches, and they did all right. And if Jim would have been a little bit more careful with the Roaches in the center, if he wouldn't have lost 4 Roaches 1 by 1 against the Reapers and the Hellions, I think his attack would have been even harder to stop.
Actually, that's really true. I forgot about that, where the Roaches went in single file there to their doom kind of thing. But yeah, it definitely spells out like that JimRising's got a bit of fire in him. He's willing to do something a little bit crazy here. Just if I was SpeCial's coach, I'd be like, SpeCial, just do something way more standard, you know? Don't go for these like low ground wall-offs, or maybe take a page out of Terran's book and do something like a proxy racks, because it really felt like JimRising didn't respond to that as well as you can do against Terran. But yeah, let's see. The second map will be Romanticide between these two.
But I think that's how SpeCial lost the game, in that one season where he lost 2 maps in the best of 5, which had never happened before at that point. And I think they had at least 12 or 13 best of 5s in their history. So maybe that's not quite the way. I mean, what about just playing Reaper, Fast Expand, going triple CC, Heli, and Banshee? What about becoming Gabe? I mean, wouldn't that be a good idea? We will see what Juanito has in store for us. For now, we are looking at the main base of our Mexican Zergi representing Timbers. He's down 0-1, but he made it close. It is JimRising.
And spawning over in the top left-hand side, representing SpeCial Gaming, it is SpeCial.
Uh-oh. What is this? Look at that timing of the spawning pool.
Yeah, 15 pool. I mean, so it feels like JimRising is maybe anticipating a little bit of proxy Rax's possibility. And SpeCial's just like, you know what? These commentators don't know what they're on about. Gas first again, barracks on the low ground, let's do this.
I thought it was 14 pool even. Are you sure it was 15?
Might be a 14 pool, Kev. You know, it's way past my bedtime, honestly, at this point. Like, I'm surprised I'm still coherent.
Then maybe you should wake up a little bit later, Benjamin.
I try, Kevin. I try. I've got little Aster Boy drop kicking me in the back all throughout the night, and I'm like, oh, damn. Oh, wow. This is look at that from JimRising. A super quick gas as well.
Yes, I mean, it could have obviously been a bit earlier. So it's mostly 6 lanes. I wonder if he's going to follow it up with the Roach Warren again. Because for now, it's just going to be 6 Zerglings at first. I guess he's just going to try to outmaneuver the Reaper and show up right when that command center goes down. Reaper is halfway across the map. What is very important here is that the Overlord knows what path the Reaper is taken. And ideally for JimRising, of course, that Reaper does run to the other side of the map. And then it becomes a barracks that builds a reactor. I don't know. We're about to find out.
Yeah, it should be a reactor building. It's definitely unusual how he's choosing to deal with Jim, because if I played Jim, I'd be like, all right, SV scout after I've done my barracks, like barracks gas kind of thing. If you play like that, you shouldn't be able to take too much damage, but a Roach Warren early on from Jim as well. I mean, I actually don't hate it from him, given what he's seen here with this wall off, and it's so weird. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of what SpeCial's been delivering so far.
Nope. Nice timing though. Reaper is on the other side of the map. Now the Reaper could potentially be very annoying in the main base. First drone takes a lot of damage, but Jim does save it. Second drone will get saved too. Now of course this does mess up your build order a little bit, but speaking of messing up build orders, that factory is still not done. Reaper is getting a lot of shots up though. I mean, how many sport throws are we going to end up with? 3 SCVs have gone down. Not a single drone yet. We do surround the Reaper. I mean, that was a big cancel. Look at the factory. It's running low on HP, obviously. SpeCial is going to save it, but that command center is still not done yet. And now there are roaches on the way, but Juanito is aware of that, of course, because the Reaper was honestly right next to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Starport, over halfway done here. It'll be nice to get some Banshees out onto the field, and he knows exactly what he's up against this time, so he can kind of react how he wants to react. I like also just making sure that he's really risking it with this factory, right? Because the longer he leaves that burning, the more he has to repair it eventually. But realizing the threat here, going for 3 gases as well.
He's got to see this, right? Okay, there we go. A little SCV does show up. There are 2 Hellions that are going to take a weird route to the other side of the map. I mean, if they make it into the main base, there isn't a whole lot fighting back, especially because JimRising has gone into droning. So JimRising's DPS at home ban is 1 queen. 1 queen is going to struggle with 2 Hellions, I'll tell you that much.
Certainly is, certainly is. And this Widow Mine, I mean, gets a shot off, but losing any economy at this point is brutal for JimRising, because, yeah, he's super all in here, Kev. This is kind of what we thought we'd see in these games, and yeah, a bunker. Like, that single bunker is going to buy enough time to get out that Banshee. Much cleaner defense so far from SpeCial.
Yeah, everything is burning though. I gotta say, it's still not the cleanest thing I've ever seen. The barracks gonna take a lot of damage, may burn down if we don't repair it. I think we are gonna lose the barracks. We won't lose the factory, but the barracks is gone. Banshee has shown up though. This is where things get ugly for JimRising. All right, Ben, how many sport crawlers is he gonna build now?
3. Or in fact, I'm guessing 0. Maybe he'll just nah, he won't leave like this, will he? I'm guessing 3 actually.
This is starting to look pretty dire. There is no other way to put it. It's definitely not the cleanest best of 3 we've ever seen from SpeCial in the Latin American region, but he is incredibly far ahead. If he wins the previous game of 13 SCVs, I don't even want to know what he's capable of with 30. I'm also a little bit surprised about the roaches that JimRising is on the way now. Like, he knows that the factory hasn't been producing. He killed the barracks. Like, what are we going to do with the roaches?
I'm a little surprised by the second starport of all things as well, Kev. Like, SpeCial going to be going... Yeah, he definitely is going to be going Banshee speed and probably into... Well, I don't know. He's styling a little bit at this point. So far, it is... How many spore crawlers? 2. 3rd on the way. Oh, he's going for the 4. The magic 4 again. I mean, it's the right number to go for. I mean, maybe 5 at this point, given he's against 2 starport.
Yeah, I mean, if he knows that he's going up against 2 starports, it's going to be 12, mate. He's going to be like everywhere. It's like, you can't kill me with Banshees. Okay, he does know he's going up against 2 starports, so yeah.
Oh, he does? He scouted it?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's actually a really big scout.
Oh, gets a kill. Juanita not going to be happy with that one. That's a little psycho, like a little... He is feeling confident enough to drop the 3rd CC on the low ground, though. Jim is building a lot of drones. The problem is we're not going to have a lot of places to put all these drones, especially not if we stay on 2 bases. And securing this base is going to be a nightmare, man, against double starport Banshee.
Yeah, not only that, it's those drones that he made, all 11 at once, it kind of caught him up with SpeCial at this point in time. A 3rd starport on the way? Well, do you think SpeCial's just having a good time?
I think this is one of the builds he prepared for the GSL, but he just couldn't bust it out.
You think so?
No. I think he's having a good time. But to be fair, Banshees do make sense here, right? Because he obviously knows that the Larry is going to be late. So maybe it's a little bit of a combination of both, where SpeCial's like, I actually believe that this is going to go incredibly well for me. I will not struggle with Roaches or Ravages if I've got 3 starport Banshee. And second, it's probably also quite fun to play because Hyperflight Rodors is the upgrade that we call Speed Banshees, about to finish up. And just look at how quick those guys are. I mean, or the ladies. They're not as quick as Phoenixes, but they're pretty damn quick.
I mean, not much is as quick as a Phoenix, let's be real. But yeah, SpeCial, got quite a few Banshees, and boom, there we go. Sorted, and these drones, absolutely getting picked apart. And these Queens as well, they won't last long either.
Yeah, he could kill the Spire, and then the game will end. I mean, we've got 4 Banshees here against just 3 Queens. Will 1 Banshee go down? Nope, not yet. Yeah, this is it, man, because now we can just kill the Spire, and if we kill the Spire, there is no anti-air. I mean, it was already kind of it, of course. SpeCial's is having a really good time. There's even a Liberator making a journey towards the other side of the map. SpeCial, man, 6 Banshees. He knows about the Spire, unless he didn't click on it, and he thought it was another sport crawler, but Juanito's having the time of his life, and to the surprise of pretty much nobody, SpeCial will make it into the playoffs of the DreamHack Masters Latin America. Of course, anything else would have been the upset of the last 2 years.
Absolutely. Like, more Banshees as well coming out here, and JimRising, he's just going to lose pretty much every hatch that he's ever loved at this point, and that's, again, just brutal for him. SpeCial did it his way, went triple starport into double armory, 4 Liberators at once here as well.
Well, I guess he knows the Mutas are on the way and he wants to kill the Mutas with Liberators. 1 Banshee does fly into a Spore Crawler in the main base, but that's obviously not going to make the difference. Banshee's got pretty high DPS, Benjamin. What do you make of that as a Terran player?
I mean, Kevin, we can't be complaining about Banshees in this game, all right? This is not the game to be complaining about Banshees, although they are doing ridiculously well, it's got to be said.
Oh, do we have an Overseer? Oh my god, there is an Overseer, but where is it? It's trying to save the lair. It's going to be a bit late. I love how SpeCial is now flying around the lair, avoiding the detection. That Overseer is coming in, but it's not going to be done in time. The lair does fall for JimRising. At this point, he's got 0 income. Look at all the drones in the natural. They have nowhere to run to. GG. SpeCial moves on.